you ever found yourself pondering what would happen if a billionaire just turned up at a team in the 9th tier of English football, just took over, built a massive ground, an amazing state-of-the-art youth academy, and threw £100 million into the club's kitty to use on transfers and player wages? I've wondered that exact thing, and this series is all about working out and finding out what would happen if that scenario happened. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Non-League to Legend, The Sugar Daddy. I'm Kev, and today we're going to be meeting our new team of Deeping Rangers. In fact, let's get them on the screen. Come on, Deeping Rangers. We're going to meet Deeping Rangers, who are a team who play in the United Counties League Premier Division, and we're going to have a look to see what impact throwing a whole heap of cash and a few tactical database tweaks makes to this save. Just to give you an idea of how the save is going to work, I'm not a manager in this save at all, yet. The plan is that this team eventually makes it far enough up the league structure that they're going to need old Kev to swoop in and become a manager, and at that point this is going to become my new Twitch save from the summer. So sort of July time, we're going to move this save over to Twitch and become the manager on there. But hopefully by then, we'll have made some significant progress up the footballing ladder with Kev as chairman. I've added myself to the game as a non-playable character. I've tried to model myself based on how I would run a football club in real life. I've put in my favoured tactics, my attitudes towards signing young players, lots of them, spending loads of money. You've all met me. You know how I manage football manager games. So I've set myself up as the owner and chairman of Deeping Rangers. Does it let me show you me? There I am. Look, you can see I'm there, but I can't click on you to show you any attributes. I then removed the manager from who was already at Deeping to give in-game Kev the opportunity to hire his own man, but I also made a few tweaks to Deeping Rangers as a football club as well. Firstly, I increased the reputation of the club from 750, which it was to begin with, up to 3,500. If those numbers mean nothing to you, they're just database things. It means that they've gone from being very much a non-league team to roughly equivalent to a League 2 team, League 1, League 2 team at about 3,500 seems about right. The reason I've done that is two reasons. One is realism based, one is database changes based. The realism one is if a billionaire turned up at a United Counties league team, there's going to be a lot of media hubbub, and as soon as they start building a massive all-seater stadium, that reputation is increasing. As soon as the state-of-the-art youth facilities there, the reputation is increasing. As a young player, as a player of any kind, you'd be quite tempted to go and work for the billionaire, even if it meant dropping down 2 or 3 leagues. I certainly would, and I think that's quite a realistic change we've made to the database. But also, from a practical point of view, I wanted to give this club £100 million of bank balance, and even with ticking the sugar daddy box on there, it would only let me give them £100 million as a balance if the reputation was at 3,500 or above. So I put it to the absolute minimum it could be whilst giving them the money that I wanted. In addition to that, as you can see, I've built a new all-seater stadium, the 25,000 capacity Lollujo Park, and made the old ground, which is called Outgang Road, that's become the training facility, which is a state-of-the-art training facility with top youth facilities. Although a year into the save, it's already dropped down to level 2 youth level, which is a little bit of a shame, but with exceptional junior coaching, extensive youth recruitment, I just maxed all of that stuff out. Again, on the basis of a billionaire chairman has turned up, he's just going to pump money into everything. So we've kept the old ground as well, given it a 10,000 capacity, and made that the ground that is used for our youth team, reserve team, giving it undersoil heat and giving it a roof as well, because I thought, why on earth not? Let's give it a roof. The main stadium doesn't have a roof, but this is our training park. That does have a roof because it's all snazzy and nice. So in addition to all of the money that should be spent on transfers and wages, we should also start getting a good batch of young players start to break through into the team. I've set the chairman preferences up and the club preferences up so that we encourage the development of youth players. So as well as having loads of money to spend and getting that short-term success, the fact that we've got these great youth and training facilities should mean that the long-term future of the club should continue to be pretty good, even after that initial bunch of money runs out. So let's have a look at the transfers that were made in order to complete this season. Firstly, we did appoint a manager. The manager who came in is Scott Porter, who's 38 years old, was the manager of Hythe back in 2014. He was sacked, though, from there, I think, or just left. wasn't their manager anymore. So he'd been out of work for 2 years, but we've plucked him out of obscurity and given him a massive, massive transfer budget and the task of getting us out of the United Counties League. And that's exactly what he's done. We'll look at the league table in a minute. But first, let's have a look at the transfers. Most of the players who were already at the club at the start of the game have been given free transfers, and they've been replaced with a whole load of players who are far too good to be playing at this level. He spent quite a conservative £400,000, initially bringing in a lot of players from, slightly higher up in the non-league structure on free transfers. Jack Gurr is a player that I've had in my main Football Manager save. I'm not sure if I had him this year or maybe in FM16, but he was a name I recognised early on. There's not many others that scream out at me. If you've played a lower league Football Manager save this year, though, there's no doubt some players on that list who you've recognised from your saves. If there is anyone on there, please let me know down in the comments if they're any good. Let's see who the superstars are from this bunch of signings. But as the season went on and it became obvious that Deepin were going to get promoted and were going places, he then started to spend a little bit of money. So the first player that money was spent on was Amadeus Skiznias, a 22-year-old Polish goalkeeper who came in from Romsey for £12,000. It's not massive money, but he's a very decent goalkeeper at this level. But quite the impressive shot stopper, good in the air. I mean, he's a good non-league goalkeeper. They then started to really throw the money around. Will Packwood came in from Sheffield United for £235,000. He had played in League One for them, just the one appearance this year. But he is a centre-back, can also play in midfield and either full-back, but he is far too good to be playing in the United Counties League and is a sign of things to come, transfer-wise, no doubt. Also, Joe Davis came in from Fleetwood for £130,000. Again, he's a player who had been playing in League One, albeit not very much, but he's got a number. I mean, he had 45, 50 appearances at Football League level. He's still only 23. He's another centre-back. So clearly we have a mind of building from the back, getting a good goalkeeper, good defence in place, and then pushing on from there. And then a very familiar face to me. He's been part of my teams both this year with Southend and last year on FM16. He was in my Ipswich team. Aaron Cool, I know how good this guy gets. I've seen him repeatedly go for millions of pounds. I've seen him play for England. I've seen him be an FA Cup winning captain. To see him turn up in the United Counties League is crazy. Yes, we're in the first season of the save, so he's still a bit of a nobody. He's only ever played 6 championship games and 5 games in the Scottish Premier League and hadn't played at all for Reading this year. But to be able to pick him up for that kind of price is crazy cheap. He's got 5 goals, 7 assists, 3 man of the matches and an 8.13 average rating from his first 8 games. And it's because he's just far too good to be playing anywhere below sort of League 1, League 2 level at the moment. If this is a sign of the kind of players who are going to be coming in, this Deeping team are just going to race through the leagues and they're going to be established in League 1, League 2 in no time. I don't see them missing a promotion if this kind of quality of player can continue. He's being paid £10,000 a week in the United Counties League, which is also crazy, crazy, crazy. So, the way the league went, they did actually lose a game, which is a bit of a surprise. But from 42 games, 39 of them were wins, just the 2 draws and the 1 defeat with a goal difference of 100. And if we have a look at the fixtures over the course of the season, you can see that 1 defeat did come quite early on. It was back in September. It was a narrow defeat as well, just a 2-1 defeat to Rothwell Corinthians. And from then on, the only other defeats were against Shrewsbury in the FA Cup first round. I think from then on, it was just pretty much all green, culminating in an FA Vase win against Morpeth, 3-1 in the final. The FA Vase, I don't know if that's not the one that all the big conference teams play in, is it? Presumably, it's the one below that. But still, quite an impressive feat. The United Counties League Knockout Cup final. I don't know what that is. I guess we won another cup as well. Let's have a look at the trophy cabinet. Competitions. So this year, winning the FA Vase, the United Counties League Premier Division, the United Counties League Knockout Cup, and the English Under 23 League 23's Group 41. Who else is in that? A bunch of nobodies, so that's fine. It's okay that we've won that league. We'll have a look at some of the youth players that have come through in a minute. In fact, let's do that now. if we have a look at the players in the under-18 squad, are these players who've played 15 games for our first team this season? So there you go. This is the quality of player who's already starting to come through. So a young 16-year-old, played a lot of games for us already. Looks like he's going to end up being rather splendid. Is there a way of filtering this so we can just see the players who came through this season? If we have a look at transfer history, does that show us youth signings who came in? No. Youth. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So these are the young players who came in this year. We'll just very quickly flash them all up so you can see the quality of youth players coming through already. Remember, United Counties League. If you want to look at any of these in any more detail, then just pause the screen, have a little look, and let me know down in the comments if there's someone we need to examine in a little bit more detail. Look at him. He can play anywhere up the middle. Some of these, though, they just look like they're far too good. I mean, look at him. Far too good for the league that they're playing in. And we'll just flick through the rest of these as well. Like I say, if you want to have a look at these in a little bit more detail, just pause on them, have a little nose through, let me know who the stars are in your mind, and we'll keep an eye on them, see who we need to be tracking as we go through this save. But it is quite promising to see so many of these young players getting first team experience already. It's all very positive and very exciting for the future. If we have a look at the records of the club as well, so 119 points, 39 wins. Did we set any more records? Gate receipts, big 6-0 win there. Most got Lewis Nuttall, so he got 23 goals. So he was our top scorer this year. That's not a bad return, is it? We've got a long way to go before we have anyone beating most league appearances for the club, but Nuttall is now our top league goal scorer of all time. Our youngest player ever is Murphy Kasongo, who we just had a little look at. And Larson Torre is our oldest player ever. And he came in on a free transfer from Ipswich, where he was playing in the Championship. That is just ridiculous that transfers like that are happening. How much money must we be paying him? £7,750 a week. This team, let me know in the comments at what level you think they'll stop winning every game and just romping through. So from the United Counties League, we now move up into whatever the next level up is. How do we know when the next level up starts? I guess it's when we get up to... I don't really know. Keep going. I guess it's these ones, isn't it? The Isthmian League and all that. I don't know what division we're going to go into next. It'll all be a delightful surprise. But let me know, are we just going to romp through all the way through to the Premier League? Or what level do you think we'll start to struggle? Bearing in mind, there's effectively unlimited money here. Because although I've started the club with £100 million, I've also clicked that sugar daddy button and told him to keep pumping the cash in. So even if we start to get a little bit low with that initial investment, there's always plenty of money to come. So we will be back next week with Season 2 to show you how we progress in our next step up into Tier 8 now of the Football League structure. Not long to go until we make it into the league. Well, there's a little while to go. How long is someone like Aaron Cole going to stick around? I mean, he's 21 now. He should be playing in the Football League. It'll be 4 years before he can even get to League 2. Surely he has to move on. He can't write off his whole career and just cash his £10,000 a week checks. Can he? If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.